We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman. Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Homobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
All members are present except Freeman.
Thank you so much. On this evening, we do not have a pastor to lead us in prayer. So I'm just going to ask that we do a moment of silence on tonight. Immediately following our moment of silence, I'm just going to ask if we can be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Lombardo. So we'll now do a moment of silence. Thank you so much. Councilman Lombardo, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. The minutes from our previously held meeting have been provided to all council members. Are there any corrections or additions? If not, can we get a motion to approve? We got a motion to approve by Councilman Fusco. Can we get a second by Councilman Swirsky?
Second.
Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman. Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Homobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Before you, you have the consent agenda. Can we get a motion to approve? Councilman Fusco?
Yes, the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. A second by Councilwoman Samples.
Second.
Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Homobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
The consent agenda passes 12-0.
Thank you so much. We do have 4 public hearings scheduled for this evening. I'm going to ask if clerk will read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 19th, 2020, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a Type A child care facility at 430 Grace Avenue.
Thank you so much. Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Pamela Blackson is requesting permission to establish a Type A child daycare home at this location. The proposed Type A daycare home would be located on the ground floor of the 2-story house. The facility would provide services and activities for up to 12 children between the ages of 6 weeks to 11 years old. Petitioner desires to provide her clients with 24-hour services Monday through Saturday and closed on Sunday. The property contains a fully enclosed outdoor play area. Providing care for up to 12 children under the age of 12 should not have a detrimental effect on nearby homes. Providing quality daycare services is beneficial to the neighborhood and the entire city and both Planning Commission and planning staff and also Office of Integrated to recommend approval subject to the conditions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. We just want to make sure that the petitioner, Pamela Blackston, is not on, or maybe if she is on, but I don't think that she is. So we're going to turn it over to Councilman Fusco.
Thank you, President Somerville. Short of any concerns that may be raised, the committee wishes to report favorable with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes. Baylor?
Aye.
Samples?
Aye.
Kamer?
Aye.
Saworski? If I can read lips, I think he said aye.
Aye.
Very good. So the report of the committees for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Thank you so much. Councilman Fusco, did you have any further comments?
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. Just that the petitioner was present this afternoon and provided testimony to the committee. We understand the commission and the department recommended approval on this particular item. There's some conditions that they're happy to meet, and so we're recommending approval this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Momobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 19th, 2020, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing, amending or supplementing Title 15, Chapter 153 Zoning Code, Section 153.140 Definitions, and Section 153.310 Business and Industry Requirements, establishing a form-based urban overlay district for the East Market Street corridor.
Mr. Antonucci.
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. The city is proposing to establish the second urban overlay area in the city along this East Market Street corridor. The purpose of establishing a form-based overlay area is to preserve and enhance the character of the existing and new development in Akron's older urban neighborhoods. Current business development requirements of the zoning code, much of which was developed in the 1960s, require new development to have a suburban feel with an overabundance of street-facing parking and deep-set buildings. While this style of development is compatible in some areas of Akron, it does not convey a sense of urban density along this main route to downtown from the east. The urban overlay would extend generally along East Market Street and Arlington Street from State Route 8 on the west to Case Avenue at the south and east. The city administration is considering several means of enhancing the corridor: a reduction in the number of vehicular lanes, striping for on-street parking, or establishing bike lanes would help promote pedestrian travel. The efforts on establishing a form-based urban overlay for the district has the goal of establishing uniform guidelines that bring use, parking, setback, and design requirements in line with traditional urban form. The new requirements are designed to be easily understood and attainable for current property owners and interested developers. Highlights of the proposed changes include promoting walkability and desirable urban form by establishing setbacks that bring the buildings to the sidewalk, establishing a minimum height of 2 stories for new facades, establishing building design standards for new construction that are in keeping with desirable urban walkable form, subject to review by the Urban Design and Historic Preservation Commission, relaxing on-site parking requirements to allow a minimum of no parking and a maximum of what is currently required by code in other parts of the city, requiring parking to be behind single parking to one side. The Office of Integrated Development and planning staff is of the opinion these changes would allow new development to rejuvenate this neighborhood in a manner harmonious with the Planning to Grow Akron report, as well as the Great Streets Initiative and Office of Integrated Development. Planning staff and Planning Commission recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. Do we have Valerie Shea and Emily Barson online with us?
Yes, hello, Madam President, members of council. Valerie Shea here.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Before you give your remarks, I'm just going to ask that you be sworn in by a member of our law department, okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam President. If the two of you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Valerie, you can start us off.
Great. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of Metro RTA. I'm the Director of Planning and Strategic Development with Metro, and we just wanted to speak in support of the overlay district that's being presented to you all this evening. We operate multiple bus lines on East Market Street, and it remains a key corridor for us now and into the future as we're looking at implementing our strategic plan. East Market Street will still be a key corridor for us. We see high ridership with the nodes in the neighborhood, and it has a lot of transit supportive residential around it right now. So we feel that the overlay district will do nothing but support the pedestrian environment. All bus riders start and end as pedestrians. So anything that supports the walkability of the corridor is definitely supported by us at Metro.
Thank you so much. Emily, did you have anything to add?
I would just second what Valerie said and definitely say that this is a great stride in the direction of supporting even transit-oriented development and supportive uses for transit. So looking forward to seeing this in action.
Thank you so much. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to, excuse me, I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item. Gorski?
Aye.
Hamer?
Aye. Oh, sorry.
And Samples?
Aye.
And Baylor?
Aye.
The report of the committee is to refer this particular item to give council time to review. There's a lot of moving parts to this particular piece of legislation. It's a wide, quite a large area is being considered. So just wanted to give council time to ask any questions this week if they have any. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Fusco. This item will be referred.
Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 19th, 2020, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance amending the zoning map by changing the commercial use district classification on property located on the north side of East Exchange Street, west of South Arlington Street, and changing the commercial use district on property located on the east side of South Arlington Street, south of East Exchange Street, to retail business use district.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Yeah, as part of the East Market form-based urban overlay, we are proposing the rezoning of these two areas from commercial use to retail use to be more in keeping with the existing uses and to promote desired future uses. And the Office of Integrated Development, Planning Staff, and Planning Commission recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I don't believe we have anyone online presently to speak in favor or against this ordinance. So Councilman Fusco, what's your pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item to give council time to review. Hamer?
Aye.
Samples?
Aye.
Baylor?
Aye.
And Swirsky?
Aye.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is to refer this item.
Okay, this item will be referred.
Thank you.
Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 19th, 2020, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish commercial use, cabinet assembly and distribution at 2000 Britton Road, the former Sears.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Akron 2000 Britton Road LLC is proposing to acquire this property and lease the former Sears department store building to a tenant who would establish a cabinet assembly and distribution facility. The petitioner would repurpose the former Sears department store for their commercial tenant. The petitioner also intends to create outparcel opportunities and locate a similar commercial tenant into the Sears automotive building once more activity on the site is generated. Drastic changes to the exterior of the former Sears department store building is not anticipated, although some additional loading docks and new signage would be added. Landscape areas will be restored with plantings maintained. Petitioner states the renovation of the property into commercial use would yield from 35 to 75 jobs. The use of this long vacant space for commercial use, such as the cabinet assembly and distribution facility, will yield jobs and provide daily activity on the site that will have the potential to generate new business activity in the area. Office of Integrated Development, Planning Staff, and Planning Commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. Do we actually have anyone online that would like to speak in reference to 2000 Britton Road?
Yes, I'm Chris Samerjan, the owner of 2000 Britton Road.
Wonderful. And Chris, before you bring your comments, we're just going to ask if you or whomever else would like to speak just is sworn in by a member of our law department, okay?
Sure.
Thank you, Madam President. If you do intend to testify, please unmute your microphone and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Chris?
Yes. We spoke earlier today to the group, but basically we're looking to convert the Sears, which is part of the mall, and hopefully later, if we can, even the mall, to a light industrial use. Our first tenant that we have is currently an Akron company looking to grow dramatically, and they're in the cabinet assembly, light manufacturing, assembly, and distribution of cabinetry for the apartment and residential market. Again, they are an Akron headquartered company, and they've been in business for quite a while. And in our minds, this is the first step to create, hundreds of jobs at the mall site, but we have to start with the first one at hand.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you.
Councilman Fusco, what's your pleasure?
Yes, I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. Samples?
Aye.
Kamer?
Aye.
Baylor?
Aye.
And Swirsky.
Aye.
The report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Okay. The rules have been suspended. Councilman Fusco, do you have any further comments?
Absolutely, President Somerville. This is exciting to see. Chapel Hill Mall, which we're all very familiar with, has been vacated for some time, as well as Sears itself. And this is the footprint where Sears is located. And it's going to take the private sector to move in and make things happen. They have a track record of doing that. And this is a great use. I mean, if you think about, that building itself, light manufacturing and distribution. So this is, I would say this is why I'm excited to hear about this and to move it forward this evening. I think we should just go forward. They're hoping for 35 to 75 jobs, perhaps over time that would increase. So let's go forward. Wish them luck.
So much, Councilman Fusco. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0.
Thank you very much.
Chris,
I
you're
appreciate all
welcome.
your efforts.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you. Councilman Fusco, what is your pleasure on the rest of the agenda?
I'd like to request that we take time on 5 through and including 10. And that we file item number 11. That's the petition for the daycare center facility on Grace Avenue that I believe we just voted on. Then time on item 12. File item number 13. That was the petition for the 2000 Britton Road that we had just voted on as well. And then time on the balance of the agenda.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but 11 actually had a substitute to be read in.
Oh, silly me. Thank you for reminding me, Sarah. Thank you.
Substitute offered as an amendment, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a type A child daycare home at 1355 Blackstone Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. The request of the committee is for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. I don't know if Council Representative Mr. Lombardo would like to comment on this particular item or not. I would yield any comments to him if he'd like to make any. If not, I'm happy to make.
Yes. Yes, I will.
Good.
So thank you, Councilman Fusco, but definitely visited that property several times, and they made the necessary adjustments so far as the aesthetics on the outside. And yeah, I'm happy to support this project with them. There are some stipulations in the ordinance, and as long as those are followed, then they will be good to go. Thank you.
Councilman Fusco, do you have anything more?
No, it's Council Representative Lombardo did a nice job on this one to move forward and encourage us to pass it this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0.
Thank you so much. We will continue with our old business, public service, Councilwoman Samples.
Time.
Time will be granted. Before we move into our new business, we do have some guests online with us this evening that we would like to welcome. We actually have Class 4 of the Mayor Citizens Institute online with us. And we're going to ask if Summer Hall will introduce them.
Gotta unmute, sorry. Good evening, Madam President and members of council. My name is Summer Hall, Community Outreach in the Office of Integrated Development, and also Secretary to Mayor Horgan. I would like to introduce you to Class 4 of the Mayor Citizens Institute. Just a little bit background regarding the Institute. The Mayor Citizens Institute is a free 10-week experience for 12 residents. Due to COVID, we took it down to 12 versus the 25 that we usually have. They meet once a week via Zoom, and they engage with city departments and leaders. The participants also were interested in finding out how their local government works, and in turn, how they can help grow and succeed the city of Akron. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our 12 participants. And then after I introduce them, we will have one participant give you maybe just a couple minutes of her experience so far. We have one more class, which is next week, and then we have our graduation. So the time has gone very fast and it's been very interesting. So Phyllis DeHart.
Good evening, Madam President Somerville. My name is Minister Phyllis DeHart, and I'm very interested in politicking and wanted to find out more about the inner workings of Akron City. So here I am.
Thank you. Jose Delgado.
Hello, everyone, members of council. As Summer said, my name is Jose Delgado, and I'm a project manager with Akron Parks Collaborative and recently selected to be on the City of Akron Racial Equity and Social Justice Task Force. So this has been a great opportunity for me to get insight for how the City of Akron works. So appreciate that.
Thank you. Jason Disick.
Good evening, and thank you for having us, members of council. My name is Jason Zick. I am a teacher at Hoban High School. I teach entrepreneurship and leadership over there. Part of why I took this class was that I think that it's important for me to know what's going on in the city to take back to the class, especially entrepreneurship, where we can talk about social entrepreneurship and social ventures. And also personally, I'm just looking for new ways to learn about my city and give back. So thanks for having us again.
Thank you, Jason. Vivian Farmer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vivian Farmer. I'm a retiree from Michelin. I was away from the city of Akron for almost 30 years. I'm happy to be back so I can brag to all of my friends about the great things and opportunities that we have to offer.
Thank you. Robert Harris.
Hello, thank you everyone for having us. I'm relatively new to Akron, but I've been passionate and interested in politics and understanding the inner workings of government for a long time now. So thank you for having this program and giving us the opportunity to learn.
Thank you. Charlene Harrison.
Hi, I'm Char Harrison, and from Ward 5 with Tara Samples, who has really helped me along with the block watch that we have the third Thursday of every month here. And it's been very interesting learning more about how the city operates. Thank you.
Thank you. Patricia Leach.
Hello, I'm also somewhat new to Akron, and I'm in Ward 10 with Sharon Connor, and I've always been interested in politics, and this is an extraordinary opportunity to understand how the city of Akron works, and thank you for having us this evening.
Thank you. Deidre Norris.
Good evening, my name is Deirdre Norris. I'm an IT project manager and I'm from Akron and I love my city and just wanted to learn more about our city council and the services that we can offer in our community. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Brian Fox.
Good evening, council. Thank you so much for having us and for this program. My name is Brian Fox. I'm the CEO of Nimble Learning Strategies. I'm also on the Board of Trustees for the Jewish Community Board of Akron. And like Jose, recently joined the Racial Equity Task Force and have learned so much over the last several weeks and want to put that to good use in many different ways to help lift up Akron. Again, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Amber Smith.
Good evening. I'm an Akron native, so I joined this program for basically all the reasons everyone said. I wanted to contribute to the city and I wanted to learn more. It's been really cool learning about all the programs and even watching this town hall meetings really cool. I had to Google what a few things meant, so it's been really cool learning about this, and I've been here my whole life, so it's been cool learning about everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon Voss.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sharon Voss. Been living in Akron for 5 years now. I work for Huntington. I was always very active in the politics in my hometown in the Netherlands. So I wanted to get to know the ins and outs of the city of Akron because I really love living here.
Thank you. And Patricia Wyatt.
Good evening. I'm Patricia Wyatt. I'm from the North Hill Community House. I
am honored to be here on City Council meeting, and also just excited about all the wealth of information so far that we've gotten from the Mayor Citizen Institute. And I'm just excited to be able to go back and take it to the community that I serve. Thank you.
Thank you. So Patricia, did you have anything else to say, or did you wrap it up? So I know you are.
I just, again, am excited because as you all know or may know that I work in the community and I do a lot of work in the community, and I just decided to take the class because I wanted to educate myself and be a little more proactive on the city and government side. I have learned such a wealth of information on how our wonderful city is ran and what it takes to do it. Teamwork makes the dream work. And I've met some wonderful team members on this team. And I'm excited again, as I said, to be able to go back and to the people that I serve and give them the information and all the wonderful things that's going to happen in our city. Thank you again. And it's been my honor to be able to speak to you all tonight. Thank you again.
Thank you, Madam President and members of City Council for allowing us to speak and introduce our Mayor Citizens Institute Class 4. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Summer Hall. And again, just want to say congratulations to Class 4. We want to thank you for all that each and every one of you do in the community. I am so glad that you found the program to be beneficial so that you can go out and continue to do the great work that you do, but also just to share with others all the exciting and great things that are actually happening in our city, the city of Akron. So again, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll now move into our new business, budget and finance. Councilman Freeman is not with us online. Councilwoman Amobian.
You can read in that ordinance. Item number 1, offered by Amobian, ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of advertising for bids with Entrust Incorporated to purchase a 1-year renewal of certificates necessary to secure the city's websites and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Amobian.
Yeah, the committee wishes to put this on the consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 2, offered by Amobian, ordinance amending ordinance number 83-2020 passed March 20th, 2020, which established the annual appropriation for the current expenses, other expenditures, and the capital outlays of the city of Akron for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Amobian.
Committee wishes to put this item on the consent agenda as well.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 3, offered by Councilman Neal, ordinance approving and authorizing the expenditure of $10,000 previously designated for the Akron City Council travel budget for the purchase of 1-year subscriptions of the Balancing Act Pro, taxpayer receipt, and meeting mode software as approved in ordinance number 100-2018 and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Amobian.
Yeah, after a very vigorous discussion this afternoon, we decided to take time. I don't know if Councilman Neal had anything else to say, but we decided to take time.
Yes, Madam Chair. I want to thank everybody for the conversation this afternoon. And what I did is I reached out to those persons who said they had interest in working with council. One was our state representative, Tavia Galansky, who was willing to come and share how the state legislature uses the online budget process to educate constituents. I personally have sat in 2 of the sessions that she, along with Minority Leader Sykes and Senator Sykes, have held to educate us about how they allocate the state budget so that we can get an idea how we can use that tool to work with our constituents. Also reached out to Minister Ray Green, and he's with Freedom Block, and he represents just one of the grassroots community organizations that reached out to us individually and have been documented in not just the Beacon, but the Devil Strip, as far as wanting to work with the city on identifying funds for proactive engagement in our community to prevent a lot of the negative things that are happening. And he is on board. And then last but not least, what I want to, if you look at the ordinance, this ordinance is addressing a funding mechanism for something that the previous council passed, which was to put the budget online. I want to state there was a concern that this was adverse to the finance department. That is not the case. We've got the support team so that they don't have to put this added responsibility on their staff. The information that will be input is public information. There isn't any proprietary information that would be need to be held. So we have the support of the community as well to put this information on. And last but not least, remember, this is a free trial. If this does not work for this council, if it doesn't serve the need, we don't do it. We look for another tool. That's what we were supposed to do 3 years ago when we passed it the first time. Others said that they may look for other tools. In my conversation with our finance director, Mr. Fricker, the other tool that we both were familiar with, he wasn't too favorable on at that time. So again, I appreciate the discussion. What I would like to do, Madam Chair, is I'll talk to you and Mr. Freeman and schedule an opportunity just to educate council. And then if council decides still that, hey, we don't need a tool, that's the pleasure of this council. But I think with us reimagining public safety, the request from our constituents to be proactive in allowing them to be engaged with, which is part of our charter. It's part of our charter for our constituents to be engaged in the budget process. This is a tool that can not only help us accomplish that, but also help us as a body have a better understanding of how to allocate our resources.
Thank you so much, Councilman Neal.
That's it. I was just going to say that's the end of the budget and finance report.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilwoman Mobian. Time will be taken on item number 3.
Item number 4, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a type A child daycare home at 1290 Country Club Drive and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco,
Refer.
this item will be referred.
Item number 5 was the substitute we already dealt with. Item number 6, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a 5-year lease agreement with an option to renew with Cascade Plaza Associates for lease of the first floor space of the PNC building at 1 Cascade Plaza and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco,
Consent agenda.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 7, offered by Kamer, ordinance amending and or supplementing Title IX General Provisions, Chapter 93, Fire Prevention, Sections 93.40, 93.41, 93.53, and 93.73 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Akron, Ohio, amending the regulations pertaining to fires and permitting fire pits and burn tables, amending the regulations pertaining to scrap rubber storage and requiring a permit, amending the regulations pertaining to fire department connections and hydrants, amending permit fees, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Councilman Kamer.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's report is favorable and we're asking for suspension of the rules, please.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you, Madam President. This is basically to amend a lot of language in our ordinance in regards to fire pits and burn tables, also to adopt regulations concerning scrap rubber and tire storage with the Ohio Fire Code, and then also revising the fee schedule. And with that, we're asking for passage.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Item number 8, offered by Kamer. Ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of advertising for bids with Fujitsu for the purchase of up to 24 Fujitsu laptop computers for use in police cruisers and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules, please.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you, Madam President. This legislation is to purchase new and regular replacement MDBs for our police cruisers and provide equipment for new cruisers.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
I'm sorry, aye.
thank you. Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Homobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0.
Thank you so much. We will now go to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. And clerk will read in the comments received for this evening.
This is from Ronald Rep. He says, please do not sell to developers, sell to Conservancy. Jake says, this is to pledge my support in the conservation of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. I oppose the sale of the property between Tice Road and Hardy Road to private developers. I support the sale of this land to the Western Reserve Land Conservancy for protection and conservation. Please do not sell this land for housing development. We get one earth and we are destroying it as it is. Please do not continue the destruction. This is from Ashley Carden. My name is Ashley Carden. I am currently an Akron resident, but I am a previous resident of Cuyahoga Falls. My mom still lives in Northampton area of Cuyahoga Falls. Please do not sell this land to be developed. I understand we want Akron to grow and I am on board with that. I do not agree with using this piece of land to facilitate that though. If this land was located in a different part of Akron, I wouldn't be opposed. My biggest concern with this is that the land is a small piece of Akron surrounded by Cuyahoga Falls. Cuyahoga Falls residents do not have a voting input in what happens on this property. They do not have an input as to what happens. How is that okay? The proposal will put Akron residents smashed between Cuyahoga Falls residents with neither having any input on what their neighbors are doing. If Akron does not want this property anymore, then I suggest we sell it to Cuyahoga Falls. As a previous Northampton resident, we enjoy having larger lots with green space. Putting a development on this piece of land goes against what Northampton residents enjoy most about living in Northampton. We didn't agree with making Sycamore Valley Golf Course a development either, and unfortunately we lost that battle. This land was previously a landfill. There was a methane gas issue back in the 80s. Are we sure this land is even safe to be developed, or are we going to have the same issue but 40 years later? I certainly hope not. In conclusion, I oppose the sale of this land for private redevelopment. It goes against what Northampton residents want, and I do not believe it is for the best interest for the area. And this letter we received several times, so I'll read the letter and then the names. I am a member of the Akron Bicycle Club, which represents over 400 cyclists in the Akron area that regularly utilize roads and trails in and around Merriman and Cuyahoga valleys. We have recently been made aware of a proposed upcoming sale of a 43-acre parcel of land by the city of Akron on Tice Road in the scenic Merriman Valley. It is my understanding that this sale is slated for November by the city of Akron, and it plans to utilize this land for housing development for up to 110 homes. As a cyclist and community member, I am extremely concerned about the negative impacts that the sprawling development will have on the health, safety, and stability of the existing parks and roadways. This tract is adjacent to the Hampton Hills mountain bike area and to roads that are utilized to traverse in and out of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Based on available information, there has been little to no planning by the city of Akron or developers to prepare for the overall impact of this housing project. We believe this property, if joined to the existing Hampton Hills Metro Park, has so much potential to expand recreational opportunities like cycling and hiking for all of Akron. It will also protect the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, which is on its doorstep. Because of its environmental importance, the Western Reserve Land Conservancy has tried to purchase the land at the City of Akron's asking price of $361,520 to place it under a permanent conservation easement to protect it forever, or at least until a comprehensive plan for the Merriman Valley is established. I understand the City of Akron has said it will only consider proposals by developers, not parks. We implore you that the City Council of Akron accept the asking price offer of the Western Reserve Land Conservancy in order to protect Akron's critical natural resources, as well as the safety and lives of your existing community. This is a decision that cannot be reversed. Please do not move forward with this unplanned development in Merriman Valley. And that is from Rick Feinberg. Pamela Samanik, Rob Eggleton, Steve Johnson, Anna Drago, Ron Ring, Curtis and Barbara Neal, and Thomas Dunn. This letter is from Alex Michael. He says, I am reaching out to all of you with concerns addressing the proposed development on Tice Road. To give you some background on myself, I am a lifelong Akron resident and a civil engineering student at the University of Akron. Like many other Akron residents, I frequently enjoy the wonderful park systems and trails we have in the area. I believe that this location will be best served under the Western Reserve Land Conservancy rather than another housing development. I understand the city has an ambitious goal of increasing our population to 250,000 residents, and this would help get the city towards that goal. However, this is considered to be Akron's last and largest unsold green space within city limits. I believe that the city should have an invested interest in increasing our population while also striking a balance with nature and preserving our wonderful environment around us. In addition to the environmental concerts, in 1984, homes were condemned in that same location due to methane. As a civil engineering student, I'm concerned about the health and safety of this potential development. In conclusion, while I do support many of the housing developments in the city, such as the homes at Hickory, I believe that this land would be better under the Western Reserve Land Conservancy so generations can enjoy the wonderful nature in the valley. This is the city's last opportunity to preserve such a massive piece of land. Or as the Native Americans famously said, when the last tree has been cut, the last fish caught, the last river poisoned, only then will we realize that one cannot eat money. If you have any additional questions or comments, please feel free to reach back out to me. Thank you for taking the time to read my concerns. This is from Esther McDowell and Chris Yokins. We are very concerned with the possible development of the City of Akron in the Merriman Valley. This area should be protected, as Western Reserve Land Conservancy has proposed, due to its location near parklands and the high traffic levels that already exit through the valley already. Safety and recreation of your citizens should also be considered in this decision. They also included the letter from the Bicycle Club. This is from Tracy Rowe. She says, hello, I am writing to voice my opposition of the sale of land between Hardy and Tice Roads to private developers and ask that it please be sold instead to the Western Reserve Land Conservancy for conservation and protection so that present and future generations may continue to enjoy this last remaining green space in Akron. I urge you to protect this piece of land. Do not allow it to be developed. This is from Eric Schultz. I know of the proposed upcoming sale of a 43-acre parcel of land by the City of Akron on Tice Road. I had a former position in community planning and am aware of many issues that a new development entail. The property belongs to the residents of Akron and falls under your responsibility as council to best administer this land. A proposal to build, say, 70 homes would bring an additional income tax for those working in Akron. They would add to the real estate tax base, but it would require additional police presence, fire department service, garbage pickup, and sewers, sanitary and storm, and water. The later three need connection to existing mains. As Akron well knows, sanitary sewers are expensive. The income tax would be small, maybe $1,000 per household, real estate tax, most of which goes to the schools. Another concern is who would be attracted to this new development. That depends on price, lot size, green space, surrounding amenities, and the school system. Connections to both Hardy and Tice are better than pure cul-de-sac like one of the proposals. Police and fire will confirm this as well. One selling point is proximity to the national park. There is none directly. You have to get in your car to get there, except the highly athletic mountain bike course across the street. A development with some type of pedestrian and bikeways to the national park would be helpful here, such as wide separated shoulders, or you could take the $361,000 upfront and use as you wish. I am a member of the Akron Bicycle Club. This is from Chris Costa. Please see the attached document with several of my concerns regarding the Tice Road redevelopment project. For everyone that is involved in the decision-making, this project will be viewed from afar, but for me, I'll see this project up close and personal for every day I own the neighboring property and deal with any of the issues resulting from it. Please take the time to watch my embedded video link of my former property at the end of the document. My concern is real, I lived it, and I do not want to do this again. If anyone would like to discuss my concerns further, feel free to call me anytime. This is from Clay Cozart, president of the FOP Akron Lodge 7. I was extremely disturbed by Councilman Russell Neal's comments at the October 5th Akron City Council meeting. I am referring specifically to the comments made at the conclusion of the public comment period following the defeat of Mr. Neal's resolution. After his difficult to follow argumentation that exceeded the time limit allowed by council rules, Mr. Neal asked of those who voted opposing the resolution, how many of you received money from the union? After a strategic pause, he added, in your campaign contributions. Surely a councilman of his tenure knows that the Fraternal Order of Police, Akron Lodge 7, is prohibited from endorsing individual candidates and from contributing money to a candidate's campaign. Mr. Neal's rhetorical question is implying the union bribed these council members to defeat his resolution. Mr. Neal knows better. The FOP Akron Lodge 7 is calling on the members of Akron City Council to censure Mr. Neal for this false and inflammatory accusation. It is not only an attack on the integrity of the FOP, but an attack on all labor unions. This false accusation is unbecoming of a member of Akron City Council. It is additionally disturbing this false accusation was made after I had thoughtful personal conversations with Mr. Neal regarding his resolution and other issues. What message is City Council sending to labor unions and others who want to have meaningful discussion about important issues if Mr. Neal is not censured for his false and inflammatory accusation, all because of a simple disagreement? Pastor Lori Porter gave the prayer prior to the meeting and asked God to help council be able to disagree without being disagreeable. Mr. Neal went well beyond being disagreeable. And again, the union is calling for him to be censured. I also have 2 voicemails that I'll play.
My name is Bill Nesbitt, Nesbitt, at the phone 330-379-2235. Again, 330-235. I'd like to encourage that our Akron Bureau of Public Utilities, our water department on the corner of High and Bowery, where it's in the YWCA building, we remain there. Those in nearby areas, the Akron Youth Community, the Channelwood, City Hospital, all these areas, and along with West Akron, you're within either walking distance or a few minutes of walking, very direct bus line. It makes a world of difference of being able to be in contact with the water department concerning needs and general service. People, particularly those in the Akron public schools with families, that would make a world of difference having that within a few minutes or a half an hour of contact, either by vehicle, the walking, or direct bus to the downtown area. So I strongly consider all of our officials with Akron to leaving our water department, remaining at its area. Please consider that and act on that. Look forward to hearing from anyone on that. Great, thanks for your aid. Thank you for your service for our Akron community. All have a great autumn season.
Good evening, Akron City Council. This is Carol Coleman Crane with Team Towing and Service, and I am once again reaching out to you all and asking you to include Team Towing and Service in Ward 5 for the towing districts. Towing districts are separated into 7 different districts. Ward 5 is being serviced currently by Greg's Towing, who also is servicing Ward 3. So I am asking for a fair and equitable distribution of the districts, and I would like to have Ward 5, since that is the address, 645 Carroll Street in Akron, of where my business is located. Team Towing and Service has been in business for over 5 years. We have 24 vehicles in total. We service 50% of the residents of Akron. We also tow for the Ohio Highway Patrol, and we also tow for the United States Postal Service. I am also going to be in the rotation for the City of Akron vehicles. We did submit our bid, and they opened the bid. It's opening every 3 years, so thankfully it just opened this last fall, and I submitted my bid, and so we will be included in that rotation as well. So I am asking you all that we currently are towing for the state. We're currently towing for the post office, the federal service, and also several the residents of Akron, as well as the private towing, and for now for the city vehicles. I'm asking that I be included in the City of Akron APD and be able to tow for Akron Police, Ward 5. I am watching several of the videos on virtual videos for the minority business service, since we are a certified business, and the buzz is that there's inclusion. They want to include all these businesses, and they want to level the playing field. They want to have a fair and equitable distribution. And I'm asking for that. I've been asking for that for a while. So I am hoping that you all will consider Team Towing to be part of the rotation, and that we be given Ward 5. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you all are well.
Thank you so much. That concludes our public comments for this evening. I want to thank everyone who submitted in writing and also participated in our voicemail system. We'll now go to our committee assignments, rules. Councilman Fusco.
Subject to call.
Public Safety, Councilman Kamer.
2:15.
Budget and Finance, Councilwoman Amobian.
3 o'clock.
Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal.
1:45.
Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco.
1.
Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco.
Subject to call.
Public Service, Councilwoman Samples.
2 p.m.
Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Public Utilities and Green Committee, Councilman Swirsky. Councilman Swirsky, you're on mute.
2:45.
Thank you. Is there anything else coming before council at this time?
Motion to adjourn.
I see Councilman Neal's hand. Hold on 1 second. Councilman Neal?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to speak to the comments from FOP President Clay Cozart. I did make that statement, and I said unions, and I meant what I said, because the FOP had reached out to get all other unions, the Steelworkers Union, other unions to speak on the issue of the resolution that was brought in, saying it was an attack on all unions. And after talking to one of my colleagues on council about how they were told if they voted for it, how the union was going to come after them in their race, I meant what I said. And Mr. Cozart has my number. He knows how to reach me. I'm disappointed that he felt he had to go through a letter. But since he had to go through a letter, I want to address it now. I think we need to look at why is this council taking years, literally years, to address Ms. Carol Coleman Crane's issue? Have any of us received money from any of the tow truck companies? I think that's a legitimate question when it takes us 3 years to address that issue. So I did mean what I said. And I think in light of the legislation that was brought up about a year ago, talking about campaign contributions and dark money contributions. And since we've had that conversation in our council, we've seen how it's impacted legislative decisions on the state level. So I just wanted to reach out, and state why I stated what I said. I said unions, not just FOP. I said unions plural, because the FOP reached out to get multiple unions involved in the discussion, saying it was an attack on unions, which it was not. What it requested is that the FOP in our community and those unions that represent police departments across the country to work with their local administrations to address this problem that we have in our communities. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilman Neal. And just a reminder, you kind of made a comment in terms of council had not addressed something in a matter of 3 years. Each and every council person can address some of these issues too. It doesn't have to be the entire council body. So just want to encourage you, if you would like to reach out to Mrs. Coleman Crane to begin that process. So I thank you so much. Councilman Malik.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I just wanted to address the comments about the Tice Road property, given that there were so many of those comments. We've had some of these comments in the previous weeks since we got back from break. And I've, followed up with those folks, and we'll follow up with the folks who reached out tonight, given that this is in Ward 8. But I know that, myself and Councilman Swirsky and city administration have had a lot of conversations with folks, with concerned residents, with stakeholders, with some of the land conservancy groups, with the developers, with all different kinds of groups, to get a better sense of the issues involved, whether it's stormwater management, whether it's traffic safety, whether it's cost benefit analysis of what is, what benefit the city will accrue with development versus conservation. And then the broader question of what we're creating in the Merriman Valley, whether it's, an area of more residential development, or it's a gateway to a national park, or it's some mixture of both. In any case, I say all of this by which to say that I think that we are focused on this. We are, I've had more conversations with Councilman Swirsky about this in the last few weeks than I think I've spoken to my family on some days. But so this is something, and I think the administration is also focused on this and thoughtfully considering all the proposals, including conservation, in addition to the development proposals. So I'm sure that, this issue will continue to proceed over the next few weeks and months. I'm sure, the rest of council will become involved and we'll all work towards the decision. But I think we'll do so thoughtfully, and we'll also, keep those folks who've been reaching out updated.
Councilman Malik, I want to thank you so much, and Councilman Swirsky, for your attention to this matter. I do see quite a few hands, but I do want to get Councilwoman Amobian.
Thank you, Madam President. Two things. I did have a conversation as well with one of the letter writers on that bike group. My question to him was essentially, can both coexist? Can the housing development exist with the path for the bikers? So I asked them to give a call to the planning department just to hear more about the plans before they decide that it just cannot go forward. Secondly, I just want to point out that Mr. Fricker and Mrs. Goodrich gave us a very thorough and enlightening report about the finances of the city in light of this pandemic. And essentially, I want to thank them for all the information. And it was a presentation with slides and all of that. And the slides will be on the website. They plan to put them up. I asked them to make them available. They talked about the Akron Cares, which is a program that was started by the employees of Akron. Apparently the mayor has found a major donor who donated $750,000 to this fund. So they are trying to utilize it as best they can. They've already spent close to $347,000 or something like that toward the utilities of the citizens of Akron. So we want you to know that this fund is available and we're trying to spend it wisely. I'd like to thank the mayor for going out and finding those resources. They also talked about the federal dollars that we have gotten from the county that came from the federal government and how we're trying to utilize those to serve the citizens of Akron, the businesses, and so forth. So a lot of good information was shared with us on how they're working to try to help the citizens and our economic situation in this city. So I was very impressed with all the work that they've been doing and the information they shared. We are, like any other city, experiencing some very difficult times financially. We certainly hope the federal government would come out with a local and state funding package through the next priority spending plan that they're doing at the federal level. Unfortunately, we did get some bad news that our S&P rating did go down to an A+. It used to be a AA. And there are a number of reasons for that, but the pandemic certainly has a lot to do with it. The fact that we don't have a lot of reserves. And that's something that we've been struggling with for years. And we were trying to build up on some reserves before this pandemic. So it's been tough. But anyway, all of that information is online, and they gave an excellent presentation. So they really talked about various items, how we're working with the United Way, the county, and all of those different entities to help our citizens who are struggling at this time. So thank you very much for that, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Amobian, for sharing. Councilwoman Samples.
Thank you, Madam President. I want us to keep in mind, and especially our new colleagues on council, 1,229 days ago, I met with Brian Beal from Kenny's Towing in regards to him wanting to be included in the towing district. 1,067 days ago, I met with Carol Coleman Crane about being included in the towing district. On December 8th of 2017, we brought in legislation to try to get them included in the towing district. With all this going on right now in this country, in this state, in our city, trying to keep small businesses afloat and making sure that they're able to have income coming into their household so they can sustain and take care of their families while still providing a service to this community and living in this community and paying taxes in this community. I think it is only fair and equitable that we revisit this again. I encourage my new colleagues to reach out to Carol Coleman Crane, visit her facility. She has the newest tow trucks and flatbeds that I've seen of any of the tow companies in the city. And I will encourage her to reach out to you as well. And I think it's time that we revisit this because I think it's well overdue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Samples, for sharing and for your doing your due diligence to assist and bring awareness to this issue. So we appreciate that. Councilman Swirsky.
Yeah, I just like Councilman Malik, I just want to thank the people who have written or called or sent emails advocating that we cherish the environment, that we protect the national park in the Merriman Valley area, that we be mindful of some of the downfall of development, which can be transportation problems, which can be an ignoring of cost benefit analysis that's comprehensive. I want to thank you for all the issues that you have raised to your council people and to the mayor. And I know that we share your concerns. And I also agree with a lot of you that argue that we should have a master plan for the Merrimack Valley. I know Councilman Malik has been talking about that almost since he became a councilman, that we need to proceed in the Merrimack Valley very carefully, and that we need to consider both the benefits of development, but also the value of green space and the value of conservation, which in the long run is always something that we all will benefit from.
Thank you so much, Councilman Swirsky, for sharing. If there's nothing else coming before council, Councilman Fusco did give a motion for adjournment. If there are no objections, meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville presiding. Happy birthday, President Somerville.